Hi Pisces, welcome to your year ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, thank you so much for all of your continued support. It truly means the world. If you would like to book a personal tarot reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And if you would like to donate to the channel for this video, you can do so on the web link below. Before we start, I would like to bless both decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's see what 2019 in general has in store for you. So you get in January the World card. This is beautiful. So it's actually called the Universe in this deck, and the universe or the world card basically talks about change. It talks about big changes, but it also talks about wrapping things up so that we can elevate, so that we can step up to the next level. Now, for this card being the first card out, all the time that you get a first card for a year ahead spread, the first card tends to permeate the entire year. So it gives you kind of an overview or an insight or a little bit of an inkling of what the texture or the almost like what the color of the year is going to be like. And this is a great card. It's the card of the Master Builder. It's the card of Saturn. So it talks about wrapping things up and making them final. So January is going to be a time where you're wrapping things up and really kind of getting yourself prepared and ready for the next step, for where you want to go next, for what you want to invite into your life next. Okay, so the card that's popped out is the Nine of Wands, and this is basically saying 2018 was a bit of a challenging year for you. You know, there were some really good peak moments, but there were also some really low troughs as well. I mean, there were for all of us, but I kind of feel with the Nine of Wands here, this is about not being heard, about not being listened to. In January, it's almost like the feeling that I get from it is like you're ready to let go of something that you feel like was an injustice. You're ready to say, right, okay, you know what, I might never get what, I might never get to hear what I want to hear, or I might never get that experience, I might never get that wrong righted. So I'm just going to let go of it. It's kind of like you're drawing a line under it. And in January, you're just saying to yourself, right, you know what, it is what it is. I have to draw a line under it, and I'm just going to continue forward. It's kind of like I hear you saying to yourself, I'm going to do me this year. I'm going to do what is good for me. And ultimately, the only thing that I would warn against is not speaking up. In January of 2019, don't set yourself this mindset of, right, I'm never going to speak on anything again. You know, don't get yourself caught into that. So February, you get the Strength card. What are your heart's desires? I kind of feel like you'll be asking yourself this question in February. January sees you wrapping things up. February sees you asking yourself, what is my heart's desire? What do I want to do from here? Where do I want to go from here? And this is kind of you schooling your emotions. It's kind of like you getting everything in check, and you're saying to yourself, yeah, you know what? That was that experience. I'm on the other end of it now. For those of you that have your birthday at the end of February, happy birthday, Pisceans. I hope you have a good one. And the Strength card as well is ultimately, it's ruled by the sign of Leo. So this is about fun, it's about optimism, but it's also about confidence. And I feel like your self-confidence comes back in February. You get a big boost of like, yeah, you know what, I remember who I am. With the Seven of Wands, you are saying what you think, saying what you feel, which is great, because it's kind of like you change that energy. January might see you kind of having that experience of, right, well, I'm not going to speak up, I'm not going to say anything. Whereas February, you're full steam ahead. You're saying what you think, you're saying what you feel. With the Strength card there, you are happy to put yourself on stage, and it also feels to me like you're happy to fight the good fight. That's what I hear from it. It's kind of like you're happy to say, look, you know what, if I see an injustice, I'm going to speak up about it. If I feel like someone's stepping on my toes, I'm going to let them know. February sees a good experience for you, having, the energy to really see things through. Ultimately, it's like what you say in February, you will do in February. March. you get the Devil card. So interesting cards coming out so far. March is basically saying and happy birthday for all of you March born Pisceans. March is basically saying don't get hooked on something, because the Devil card represents addiction, right? But it also represents the things that we do unconsciously, and this is effectively what I feel from it. It's asking you to delve deep into what is coming to you. You know, are you acting from a place of action, or are you just reacting to circumstances or situations? So to clarify, you get the Three of Pentacles. Interestingly enough, Pisces, I want to say this to you. You already have a lot of knowledge. You already have an innate understanding of things, and this tends to kind of be why you kind of go with the flow. And also because you're deeply intuitive, most things shape up the way you kind of expect them to anyway. But I kind of feel like you'll rely too much on that in March. It's almost like you need to step outside of that, and also maybe not get bogged down with, you know, because you've got the Devil card there, which is about something that's unconscious, and the Three of Pentacles, which is about learning. So it's kind of like, you know, don't be afraid to do things differently. Don't be afraid to do things in a more practical sense. You know, you went through this whole sort of interesting journey last year in 2018, where you were kind of mixing, you know, going from one extreme to another, like either too airy fairy and spiritual, or too grounded and too practical. It kind of feels like to me March you'll be looking to balance a lot of this out, and it also seems you learning the finer details of something. You know, for some of you as well, this could be deciding that you need to study, and the feeling that I get from it is you don't need to learn anymore. You can take the training wheels off. You don't need somebody there to hold your hand. You don't need somebody there to say, oh yeah, you know, this person can do what, you know, what it says on the tin. You just need to trust that you can already do it. For those of you that are looking to change job or move career, don't go back into study. You already have all the skills that you need. Just demonstrate that. Be practical and proactive in that respect. April, the Hierophant card. So in April, it looks like you're making something more official. For some of you, it kind of feels like it's almost inevitable. You will find yourself going down that route of study, you know, maybe to get a formal qualification. Because, you know, you've got the Hierophant card there, which is the status quo, but it's also the establishment. Coupled with the Three of Pentacles right next to it, that kind of says to me that some of you, yeah, for some of you, it's almost like it's an inevitable journey. You will find yourself back in the learning seat in some way, shape or form, which is fine. I just don't, with the Devil card there, I almost feel like you feel you need more training or more qualifications than you actually do. It's almost like you've got everything that you need, but you almost don't want to acknowledge that. The Eight of Swords with the Hierophant card, you know, it feels to me like somebody in your midst will have a brush with the law. You know, because the Eight of Swords it's constriction, confinement, but it's also imprisonment. When you see that next to the Hierophant card there, that's like a prison. It's an institution where somebody or someone is held. If you have young people in and of your family, and you can see that they might be going down a specific route, it's really, really important for you to pull them back or pull them out. In terms of you yourself, remember that whatever you commit to in April will have far-reaching ripples and consequences, and you will need to be tied to it for longer than you imagine. So anything that you're thinking about doing in April, I would think long and hard about whether it's something that you really want to tie yourself to, because the chances are it will be something that you have to be a part of. Not interested in, like, it will be something that you have to see through to the end, and the end of it will probably be about 8 months into the future. So you really need to ask yourself, am I in this for, and possibly longer as well with the Hierophant there. You need to ask yourself, are you really in it for the long haul? Are you going to be able to commit to this? Because it will require a commitment, and it will be one that you won't be able to shake off very easily, whether it's study, whether it's, you know, anything like that. And like I said, in terms of any young people, you know, certainly teenagers and young adults, just keep an eye on them. May, the High Priestess. hidden things revealed, secrets come to light, but ultimately intuition speaks. This is a beautiful card. I love this card because it says that your intuition is really powerful in May, and you are having the kind of experiences that will grow you, that will nourish you. And ultimately this is you in May. It's kind of like the feeling that I get from this is you're going through a period of self-trust. You're going through a period of really getting to the nitty-gritty and saying, right, okay, you know what, I need to be a bit more self-reliant. I need to be a bit more you know, a bit more here, a bit more focused. So May sees that happening for you, and it's kind of like you're not reassessing, it's almost like you're bringing your bits and pieces back together in May. To clarify, you get the 3 of Cups, which is beautiful. This is the start of the brighter energies. So January looks good. February, you're kind of, you know, really active about telling people about themselves if you need to. March and April look like challenges ahead, I have to say. Whereas May, this is where the good times start. This is the, you know, because you've got the 3 of Cups here as well, which can be a birth, but it can also be a reunion. It feels to me like something or someone is coming back into the fold, and it also tells me that there might be a pregnancy that's being kept secret. You know, this isn't something that you discover by accident, like, oh my gosh, I'm, you know, 4 months pregnant. This is a pregnancy that is being kept secret deliberately. So, you know, whatever that means to you, but it, you know, in one respect, May is a very fertile time. In another respect, your intuition is very powerful. Lots of enjoyment, lots of laughter. Women will be very important to and for you in the month of May. They will be, you know, your biggest support, whether you are a male or a female. That's going to be, you know, evident, let's say. So June, the Star card, beautiful. So this is hope, it's optimism, it's joy, but it's also finding your tribe. June feels to me like the month where people start to show up. Up until now, it feels like it's very much just you. Like you're going through the motions, you're making things happen, you're dealing with all situations that pop up, good and bad, positive and negative, beneficial and not so beneficial. Whereas, you know, May is the start of the good stuff coming in. June just kind of builds on that, but it brings you the right people. It brings you people that are on your wavelength, and it also brings you people that are there to support you, people that are, you know, going to help and aid in some way, shape or form. So I pulled the cards the wrong way round, as you've probably noticed. And in June, you get the Emperor card. So this is really good because it suggests to me that some of you, it's almost like if your partner will champion you. You know, in the month of June, your partner's going to stand up for you. They're going to be there for you. The group of people, the groups or the associations that you decide to tie yourself with, you know, whether this is learning institutions, whether it's, you know, I was going to say knitting and crochet groups then, but it's not really that. You know, these are going to always be active and practical in nature because the Emperor card represents the sign of Aries. So this could be you taking up some kind of sport, something that really kind of, it will help you develop your mental energy by developing your physical energy. It also says that for those of you that are partnered, in the month of June, your partner champions you. Your partner really, you know, stands up for you, and you kind of look at them and say, wow, yeah, I realised why I picked you. For those of you that are single, this looks very much like if you're not, you know, meeting or pairing up with an Aquarian, you're pairing up with somebody that comes from overseas or somebody that is very different to you. This is somebody that really kind of excites you because, you know, they're very unlike you. This is somebody that really chooses to, you know, to think outside the box and will force you to do the same. July, the Hermit card. So this represents the sign of Virgo, but it's also about taking that inward journey. So July, you're going to seek to kind of, it's almost like you align yourself with groups or the right partner in June. And beyond that, in July, you're saying to yourself, right, okay, I think I've expanded enough. I feel like I've grown enough. I want to start to get more specific. I want to start to build on what I have. July, it kind of feels like you're looking to make the most of what you've got. You're looking to get the most out of the people, places, situations, finance, everything that you have in your life already. It's like you want to make the most of it and get the best from it. The Queen of Swords. Okay, interesting. So Queen of Swords as a person, an air sign female, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. somebody that is, you know, very, very sharp-witted, very intelligent, very smart. She can be a bit sort of, I always say about the Queen of Swords, mouth like a sewer, heart full of gold. You know, she's ultimately, she may be very forthright in what she says to you and how she says it, but she's very, very fair. She also represents your intelligence, your you know, your ability to stand up to things, your ability to have an experience and see it for what it is, but also see it for what the positives are and the negatives. So July looks like a month where you're really withdrawing from the world, and not necessarily all people, but you're being really discerning about who you let in, and like I said, really going through everything with a fine-tooth comb to say to yourself, right, how can I get the best out of this? How can I get the best out of them? Is this working for me? So interesting month, July. Very, very interesting month. August, you get the Judgment card. So the blast from the past comes in. You know, this person as well is likely to be an Aquarius. So Aquarius energy will feature quite heavily for you in June and July. August, a blast from the past. This is somebody that comes back into the fold. This is somebody that comes, or something that comes back into your life in order to be readdressed and reassessed so that you can let it go. But the thing about the Judgment card is it always brings a it precedes big change. Whenever you see the Judgment card, things will never be the same going forward. But in order for them to change so much, you have to finally go through the past and let certain things go. It looks like somebody comes back to you in August in order for you to say, right, okay, I remember the experience that you brought me, and I'm no longer interested in having it. With the Justice card, yeah, there's lots of legal stuff taking place for you guys. In August, if you are taking a trip down memory lane, please don't sign anything. And if you absolutely have to sign something, get a second opinion. The reason I say that is because you've got the Judgment card there. It's like something coming back to you, like for some of you deciding to move to a place that you used to live at. You know, with the Justice card there on top of the Judgment card, it kind of feels like taking a step back would be taking a massive step back. It won't be just taking it won't just be, yeah, it will just be taking a huge step back. August is not the month for you to tread old ground, you know. Watch and observe everything that comes up, absolutely, but don't hang on to anything, especially anything that comes from your past. September, the Star card again, beautiful. So September looks like a great month. It's actually full of opportunities. It's full of optimism and hope, and ultimately with the Star card, this kind of feels to me like finally, you know, not that you haven't got other good months, but finally September is a month where you can really start to see the opportunities that are, you know, that are really for you. Start to see certain things arriving that are actually going to help you build the stuff that you want. To clarify, you get the Queen of Wands. What's straight away evident here then is that people, and especially women, are going to, you know, whether you're a man or a woman yourself, people are going to feature heavily for you this year, especially around the time of July and September. The Queen of Wands, fire sign female, Sagittarius, Aries or Leo. The fact that this falls underneath, you know, these cards, it's likely to be an Aries. Sorry, ignore that. Wrong place. With the Star card then, this is basically saying that the opportunities that you need are going to be brought to you through women. The opportunities that you want to shape up for you in and of your own life are basically, they're going to be the type of people that think outside the box, but also there'll be people that are spiritually minded, but maybe not necessarily overtly about it. These are people that are really, really different. And September, the type of people that you need will be the people that think outside the box. You'll naturally be drawn to them because they will have a different outlook. So September looks good. I mean, September looks like it's full of artsy stuff as well. September's a very creative month as well, with the Queen of Wands there and the Star card. It's about you stepping into, you know, to different aspects of yourself and ultimately understanding that the opportunities to further your life or to make it better will come through women. It will come through, you know, people, and there'll be really different types of people to what you're used to. October, the Wheel of Fortune. Love this. This is about synchronicity. It's about the hard work that you've put in. It's about the effort that you've kind of, you know, you reap what you sow, as they say. And the Wheel of Fortune says that October will be your travel month. October is the month where you're on the move, you're on the go. It kind of feels to me like a lot of your month, a lot of your year, Pisces, is very static. Whereas October is where you start to see the movement. October is where you start to see, you know, the real moves being made, let's say. And not only that, when I say moves being made, I mean like, you know, travel, going places, seeing things, foreign places. October is that month. And then you get that with the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords basically says to you, you know, listen to your intuition, pay attention to your gut feelings. I kind of feel like as well in October, you'll be having this experience of, yeah, you know what, things are good, but it's almost like you're not there. It's almost like you're, you know, you're there and you're having these experiences, but you're choosing to kind of keep your distance from it in your feelings, which is really interesting because, you know, like I said, the Wheel of Fortune is great. It sees you traveling, but it sees you almost using your skills and your gifts on those travels. You know, because the Two of Swords asks you to really search your feelings and listen to your intuition. Any relationships that end in June or July may well in August and October, or August or September or October, may well come up for review again. And it will be up to you, you know, if you go down that route. But it looks like any relationships that come to a halt or come to an end in June or July, certainly going forward, it will be, you know, either August or October that they'll be looked at again. November, you get the Magician card. Beautiful. So again, you know, November's a power month for you. You've got a lot of strength here. You've got a lot of power. This is you really communicating what you want, what you need. It says, especially next to the Two of Swords, that a lot of your spiritual and psychic power will be coming through. It's kind of like, for most of the year, it's almost like Pisces forgets who they are. It's almost like, that's the feeling that I get from it. It's like you forget how gifted you are. You forget how much power you have. You forget how much psychic ability you have. And then in November, more like, well, October actually will kickstart it. But in November, you really start to remember that. And you really start to demonstrate it into the world. It's interesting because these are not, you know, the easiest of cards, I have to say. So to clarify, you get November, there will be some startling realizations in November, and there will be things learned about specific people, but ultimately there'll be things learned about yourself. And it kind of feels to me that in November you will be saying to yourself, right, okay, I thought that I was all about that specific life or being that kind of person, but actually the truth is I'm not. That doesn't work for me. I kind of feel like you're going to surprise yourself in November by what your wants are, what your needs are, what you're willing to say and how far you're willing to go to get what it is that you want. It's kind of like you'll be taking a really harsh look at yourself and saying, right, okay, maybe I'm not that person, and if I'm not that person anymore, who am I? What am I all about now? And that's actually a good thing, because sometimes when things are deconstructed, you can put them back the way that you want them to be. November does bring you some kind of revelation though. Whenever you see the Tower card, it's kind of like that. It shatters or cracks an illusion, something that we believe is real, something that we've fooled ourselves into believing is real, we remember isn't. And the Tower comes along to shake that ground. So it's kind of like the Tower card is reminding you of who you are. You know, like I said, you're getting back to who am I? What am I about? What am I doing here? What is my mission statement? And you realise that in November, it's kind of like the words that I'm hearing are, I'm starting to see how far I've strayed from my own path. And only you really can tell you what your path is and what it's about. December, you get the Sun card. Absolutely wonderful. Straight after the Tower, and you know, what more could you ask for? I'm not going to pick another card to clarify this, because it basically says you start the year on a high, you end the year on an even bigger high. There are challenges ahead for you, Pisces, absolutely. You are going to have to stand up for yourself. You're going to have to speak up for yourself. You will have to be more confrontational this year. With the cards that are here, I see you having to dig deep, really speak your mind, and it's almost like circumstances, situations, and people will force you to be open and overt with what you feel, with what you think, what your opinion really is. It's like you're standing up for yourself in ways that you haven't before. And it's kind of like anything that holds you back, anything that holds you down, you know, you're a fish. If somebody tries to put you in a fish tank this year, it's not going to work, and it will see you reacting, you know, in some ways, very surprisingly to some people. You know, like in terms of this stuff here, this, you know, institutions, I would be very careful about your physical health in April. You know, anything that, like, if you do any extreme sports or anything that is potentially dangerous, April is not the month for it, because the chances are you could, you know, touch wood, you could end up hurting yourself, and, you know, it's like, oh, I thought I had a broken toe, turns out I've got a snapped ankle. You know, it's that kind of energy. Like, so April, just be really wary. Power months look like May, beautiful month. You know, you're feeling sensual, happy, powerful within yourself, having lots of fun, lots of enjoyment. June, beautiful month, like, you know, really strong and sure and connected to yourself. September's a great month. October's a great month. November, not so much. And then December, you finish on the sun. And that's basically saying to me that no matter what the challenges are for 2019, you will be able to transmute them. You will be able to change them. And ultimately, it's kind of like where if most other signs had this year, they would be like, oh my fucking God, like, you know, what am I going to do with this? But I kind of feel like you're going to enjoy it, and you'll actually thrive on it. You know, it's going to be, it will be a quick year, but it will be a slow. When it's quick, it's quick. When it's slow, it will be really, really slow. You know, it's kind of like 3 months will go by, and then you'll have 1 month that just seems to take absolutely forever. And you think to yourself, really, is this happening? But definitely a bit of a mixed bag for sure. It's interesting because I didn't know what I expected from the Pisces year, but I didn't expect this. Your key to the year, the Magician. So this is about reminding you who you are. It's about, you know, you rediscovering who you are, what your abilities are, what your talents are, how talented you actually are. What are your faults? What are your flaws? What are your, you know, this is rediscovery of self on an unprecedented level. And you will really be going into the depths of it this year, but you'll also be going into the highs of it this year. You are really powerful in the year of 2019 because you are in total command and respect and reverence of yourself. And that is a powerful place to be in. Pisces, I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance itself. Have an amazing year. I'll see you very soon for more videos. Take care.